so you know I got to lean in.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to another lean episode here for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm here with Jamie and Danny, and we are here to name them.
Name them.
We're here to name them. And I hold down Cowboy Couture last minute decision. We saw it on TV and was like, oh my God, y'all got hats. And here we are for you. What's going on, Jamie? Giving us Renaissance. Hold down.
Ooh, y'all lucky I had this because I done threw everything else out. But
You threw all your
going
stuff out?
Well, threw out because it was raggedy by the end of the night. Like glitter was half off. The boots was leaning a little bit, kind of like yours.
How does that differ from your normal?
Hold on, no, not too much. Name them. When have I ever been raggedy?
I'm not gonna name them. I'm gonna show them.
Name them.
Danny, how are you?
I am good. Happy to be here and ready to get in some things.
Yeah, it was a fairly entertaining episode. You know, it had some ups and downs, but it was overall a pretty good episode. The Beverly Hills girls they still got it. Some are showing up and really showing out. So before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. The episode just went off, so we're here to talk about it. Every Wednesday we're here. Make sure you guys check out our other shows. Potomac on Mondays. Tuesdays has Salt Lake City and Merritt Madison. Check those shows out. And then tomorrow is for Miami. Housewives of Miami, hosted by Jamie. And yeah. So last week's episode was Sutton's big meltdown, and we talked about it. And, you know, it was a debate. You know, a lot of things were said on social media. People, Jamie said, "Look, I can't."
my head is sweating right now. I cannot do this.
It's okay.
I would be drenched.
It's coming for your hat, Danny.
Yeah, it's a Puerto Rican hat, not a cowboy hat. It's the difference.
Not a Puerto Rican. You should have worn that to Miami tomorrow.
Oh no. I'm like Lauryn Hill. You should be happy I'm gonna show up tomorrow.
So yeah, last week was Sutton's meltdown. A lot of things were said. People were saying that Sutton was set up. You know, people said that even though
name them. Who said that?
Let me just finish. Even though that you know, Erica said that she's not on her get back, she's not drinking, she's like not getting into it. They feel like maybe she was like really behind that and really tried to embarrass her. But we kind of get a glimpse of that this episode we'll talk about. You know, Sutton said it was about the fact that her image, but she also made a hoop and holler about her pants. So let's just talk about it. So beginning in this episode, we finished off last week's episode where Garcelle stormed off from breakfast because she expressed that she did not feel comfortable with talking to the girls about her family. And so in this episode, we pick up the same day. There's two conversations going on. Dorit is talking to PK, and Dorit is telling PK about Sutton and how she kind of acted at the Magic Mike. And PK makes a joke like he always does and calls her Mary Poppins, as in, wow, anybody want to see Mary Poppins up there on stage? And I kind of chuckled a little bit, but PK always got his jokes, but I'm sure that if people laughed about their situations, they would probably hush. Maybe not. But he also talked about him conversing with Mauricio, and we see a clip of him just talking to Mauricio, kind of, I guess, helping him or coaching him through whatever his relationship with Kyle, and where he basically says that Kyle is always right. He's like, well, no, she's not always right. You know, that's not the case. Stand up for yourself, Mauricio, is what I got from it. And then in the other scene, Kyle is talking to Mauricio, and he's not really giving us any information about their conversation. He's kind of giving us a watered down version of it, in a sense, or whatever. To Kyle. And so I'll stop there and just get you guys' thoughts on the two conversations that were had between the two husbands. Any thoughts? Just anything, Jamie?
I mean, it's interesting that Mauricio and PK are having the exact same conversation and going through the exact same thing with their wives, because I've been wanting to leave them women for years. So I just hope that we don't get Kyle and Dorit crying over their separations for an entire season, because I won't do it. I won't be recapping those episodes. I'm emotionally unavailable.
Well,
you'll be here. Not according to the template.
So you say.
So you say.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jamie. I feel right now that Kyle and Mauricio are being somewhat vulnerable and open with what's going on with them, but it just seems like Kyle and PK, Dorit and PK are just really trying to still like be surface and keep it under wraps and put on a show.
And it's a show we are bored of.
Yeah, I feel like they're trying to overly sell their issues and cracks in their marriages before we can actually see it unfold. And that's why I'm like, okay, I mean, is it real? Sure, I'm pretty sure it's definitely real, but it's just like, I don't know. I kind of expected this to be later in the season. It's kind of like, damn, it's like hitting it right there because we found out about this at the end, like when the season wrapped, right? When we found out that they were separated, stuff like that. But this is early days of filming, so I'm like, oh, okay, is it really authentic? I don't really know. We'll see. We'll see it unfold on the season. All right, so throughout the day, the girls, they like to split up in these different scenes. Crystal's with Erica, Garcella's with Sutton, and Dorit is with Kyle. So in Crystal and Erica's conversation, it's basically talk about Sutton and her reaction and how it didn't really bother them too much because they really weren't going to let little old Sutton ruin the night. They were so focused on what was going on, they really didn't care. As they had their legs spread to the moon, they didn't care, right? And then Crystal kind of asks she asks Erica about her old life and does she miss it? And Erica says she misses certain things. She doesn't miss the arguing, but she misses, probably the money. That's what I'm gonna get. I got.
Yeah.
The money. Yeah. Garden. Why do I keep making these names up? Last time I said
you're worse than me.
It was Litany, child.
Litany.
So Garcelle and Sutton are together and they do I forgot what it's called, but you can do it.
Gondola.
They did that. The Donda with Kanye West or whatever. And,
Gondola.
Basically Sutton is checking on Garcelle on how she feels after the conversation she had early that morning. And she just feels like, no one just really listens to her, specifically Sutton. She says that she was expressing how she felt, and that's really all it really should have been, right? But as they're trying to speak all morning, but the man is just singing for dear God. And he's doing his job, but baby, they were not able to get a word out. I was actually cracking up because he was just singing for his coins. I hope they tipped him well because he sounded great for what he was doing. But Garcelle is also worried about how things are between her and Dorit and Kyle. She doesn't really know how things will go the next time they see each other just because of how breakfast went. And that's pretty much all that happens in that scene. And then you have Dorit and Kyle. They talk more about Garcelle. Dorit is still very verbal, and she kind of recognizes that that's how Garcelle was feeling, but she still doesn't quite get it. Clearly, she still is kind of going over her head on what Garcelle was trying to say and why she was emotional about it. But that's her. But Kyle starts to speak more about her lifestyle changes and why she's working out and how she's not drinking and stuff like that. And Dorit is kind of concerned. She feels like all the things that she's doing kind of counteracts against what not Mauricio stands for, but what he's doing, like the events he has to go to, being social. Kyle basically says she doesn't want to do that anymore. She says that she kind of admits to there being moments where she would fake like there's vodka in her drink, but she wasn't really drinking. So what it comes down to is that what I got from it, you can tell me what you guys think. Kyle ain't really been either. Has not really been herself, or she's faking it now. She's faking it now for whatever reason. Oh, I don't know. Let Sutton tell her she's going through a midlife crisis. All the girls are pretty shocked she's not drinking, and she also has not hit a split yet. So maybe she's I don't know. So I'll stop there and get you guys' thoughts on either of those three scenes. Danny.
So the scene that stuck out to me the most was the one with Erica and Crystal. Because it was funny to me when when Erica started talking about how things got bad towards the end, a flashback from 2015 was used. So it's just like, was that really the end and they just were together? You know what I mean? So that just kind of stuck out to me. And then with Dorito and Kyle, what really pissed me off in that moment was, when Dorit started the conversation recapping about what Garcelle was saying, it really bothered me when she said, of course she should be able to, she should feel safe to express herself. But it's like, why say that to Kyle and why not make Garcelle feel that way when she's expressing herself to you? So it just seemed like she had time to think of a way to make herself look better and clean it up later on in the end, so she could say, well, I said this later. Don't say it later. Say it to me. Yeah. And number two, I know plenty of husbands who do business that Mauricio does, and their wives aren't there. That something like that should not. If a wife don't want to be at your work stuff, that shouldn't affect your marriage. So if that affects your marriage, there's other stuff going on that's not really the issue. You not drinking anymore, you not wanting to be on his arm at these events, that's not really the root cause of what's happening. If that alone was enough to break up your marriage and make you cry. And then Sutton and Garcelle's, I really don't have no thoughts. That man wanted to make sure he got his camera time to sing, and that was it.
The gondola, it was funny. I really enjoy that over the years, Garcelle and Sutton, we get like an equal part comedy and an equal part like some of them like really, talking about some serious stuff. But you can tell out of them, they came in kind of around the same time and they have a good friendship and they genuinely enjoy each other's company. The conversation with Crystal and Erica felt a little stiff because they don't spend a lot of time together. And I also found it hilarious that Erica was singing to the high heavens. Oh, I didn't care. She didn't ruin my night. I wasn't even bothered by Sutton. But we can clearly see she was absolutely bothered by it. Crystal, I believed her. Because Crystal's like, baby, this is my birthday. I'm having a good ass time. She didn't get mad at Sutton. She was like, okay, well, sorry that you felt that way. Like, it didn't bother me, one bit. I think that I agree, Danny. Like, one, men that do business, unless it's a huge function, they don't want their wives there. They're making deals with men with the sleeves rolled up and a glass of bourbon in like a strip club or a restaurant. The last thing they want are their wives around at every single event. Kyle, again, is playing producer and trying to control a narrative, trying to control how the story leaks, what the story, and she is painting herself as like a woman that's just tired and I want a different kind of life, but my man won't let me. And so I had to Kyle hasn't had an authentic scene since she started the show 10 years ago. We've seen how she treats people. We see how she gaslights people, paints herself the victim. We saw this episode, how she did that to Sutton and takes no accountability for it. So, like, good for Mauricio. That man can cheat, do whatever. It takes two to tango. Kyle is not. Just because you didn't show up to an event, that was not the straw that broke the camel's back.
Jamie, I have a question, and I'm sorry to interrupt. It just hit me now while you were talking. Do you think that maybe one of the reasons she feels that Mauricio may want her there is because of her star quality being on that show right now? Like, it could be like a wow factor for Kyle to be present?
I think maybe at the beginning, absolutely. Like, because she was the big name and his, real estate career was kind of hinged and attached to somebody else's firm. Once he went out on his own, it absolutely helped to have Kyle there. This man now is a decade into having his own firm. He has his own show. He is in Mexico and in the United States with this firm. Like, if anything, his daughters would be the bigger draw because, as we know, we see franchises like Selling Sunset and Selling LA, Selling the OC are around young, attractive real estate agents. Like, Kyle, sweetie, what are you going to talk about houses? Like, we don't need you there. We need your oldest daughter. We need the other daughter that works here with us. Like, those are who we're trying to get out. I think Kyle, that was just an easier way to say, I don't want to be around that man that much. And he doesn't want me around. That's probably the truth. He doesn't want you around. So I'm going to overcompensate and say, like, I just don't feel like going. Like, okay, girl. Sure. We'll believe that on episode 3.
Well, we're on 4 now, but
damn it. Well, I didn't believe it for one episode.
Again.
So you say.
All right, so they get dressed for dinner and they're going out. They get all in their like hold down Western cowgirl tour or whatever. Some have on cowboy hats, some have on wide rim fedoras. I mean, I don't know if you guys like, hey, listen, I get it. We got it. But everybody was all dressed up. They go to dinner. And they start the question game again, and the first question from Crystal is about monogamy, and the ladies kind of talk about monogamy and how things, how they feel about it. But Garcelle kind of takes lead and just like, basically, is it okay for your husband to cheat one time? Like, is that a end all thing? And so Kyle's like, she doesn't know. She says in her confessional, she's not the woman to just be like turning a blind eye. But they show all the times that Mauricio has been accused of cheating, specifically 10 years ago, in season 3. And so, that brings a light to a few things. But then Garcelle talks about her story. She talks about how she sent that email that she was being cheated on. But that she's grown from it or whatever. And so the next question that they ask is, at what point does money stop making you happier? Erica speaks, I'm assuming probably being the brokest one up there right now, maybe. I don't know. Because they could be Dorit too. We don't know. But she basically says that it's whenever there is nothing else to pay. Like you've covered everything and there's nothing else to pay. She talks about having to downsize and just talks about how she says she don't travel as much anymore. She doesn't really she doesn't buy her, she would shop today, but that's just not who she is anymore. She doesn't have that type of
money.
Right. Basically, I'm broke. She still wants us to think she's broke, which I don't think she's broke. But of course, she has to do that because I'm sure those victims are still watching this show, waiting, waiting on something to come out that they can be like, got her. But Garcelle points out that she is very vulnerable now, compared to what she used to be, and she says that she couldn't be that way because she was being attacked in the past. So now that everything is, I guess, gone and she got all her jewelry back and stuff like that that was hers, she feels like she can speak more. They go to a bull riding, like a bar, and they ride bulls. Now Kyle gets on the bull and the bull barely moves. She's on there for like 20 some seconds, but it barely moves. She barely move. But Sutton gets on. I'm gonna say Sutton is such a frail little lady. She is so tiny. You can just see her. And I really thought her bones was gonna break. I was like, please get this lady off this bull because something is going to pop. Even when she was getting on the man's hand to get up on the bull, I was like, please get my grandma down.
I hate you.
That's what I'm like,
Nana, come on, Nana.
She's on there for 14 seconds, and actually, the bull was more aggressive for her than it was for Kyle. But the ladies feel like, really, son? And because of this, son can't ride meat and blah, blah, blah. So any thoughts on the dinner conversation, the thing about monogamy, Garcelle's story, Kyle's approach, and Erica's approach? Jamie.
I am glad that Garcelle reminded viewers of who Garcelle Bouvet is, because I remember when that story actually broke, it was a huge scandal and all over Extra and the headlines, and which was part of the reason why when she got cast, like people were like, "Oh, this is the Garcelle we're gonna get." And then we love her or hate her, Garcelle has kind of stayed fairly level-headed. She hasn't given that energy, but she also hasn't talked a lot about that incident. I think she alluded to it very, very briefly her first season. So for her to come back and talk about that, like I want a little more conversation on that, because Garcelle set Hollywood on fire with that email once that got leaked. This dinner scene I actually really, really liked. And I've said it every episode that I've been on since it started. Rinna's presence or lack of presence has made way for the women to speak and actually speak honestly and not have every scene be about a takedown or a gotcha moment or something. And so I haven't liked Erica in a scene this much in probably 2 or 3 seasons. So to see her actually talk and whether or not she was being honest or if it was an act, I enjoy this Erica. So keep that up. Never bring Rinna back, because these other ladies, we're getting to see a little bit more of their personalities on that.
Yeah. And that was really basically my thought too. The biggest thing I got was that they were finally able to have a conversation If Brenda was there, we still would have been talking about Sutton's breakdown at this table, or Garcelle's conversation,
Or last season.
or Garcelle's conversation about the kids from the morning. It wouldn't have been like I want drama, but I don't want every scene to have it. I enjoy these moments when they're just talking, having fun, having girl talk. Like I enjoyed it. I really did. This was a nice scene. Nothing major happened in it, but it was still very enjoyable to watch.
Okay. Well, they go home and they go to bed and they're getting ready to leave the next day, and they're all you see all their luggage and stuff. They're going towards the elevator, but the elevator opens and it is the guys that were part of the show. And Erica is just like, "Oh my God, it's my friend Sutton, the one that you said was trash and the show was horrible and all these things." And I'm just like, I don't think she said that, but
She didn't say anything like that.
But Sutton catches it, and Sutton is irritated. Now she apologizes many times to the guy for whatever, but she does say that's not what she said, and to not put words in her mouth. So the guys get on the elevator, they go down, and it's very quiet for a moment. Sutton storms off as they go into their Sprinter van to leave, and she's upset. So Garcelle goes over to check on her or whatever, and they get on the bus or whatever. And so Erica in her confessional was just like, I said that I wasn't going to, do anything. I'm for the land or whatever she's doing. But, in this moment, the Lord told her she had to do something. And I guess that was, to me, this scene kind of proved that maybe she did kind of set up Sutton, just because I felt like she was on some get back.
She said that.
Sutton never really said, yeah, she did. Sutton never really said that she didn't like the show. She just said that the show, that was not really about her. Now, I get it could have offended somebody, maybe Erica, but I don't think those guys thought two types of things at all when they went to bed about Sutton leaving. I don't think
they wouldn't have noticed. They wouldn't have noticed.
They wouldn't have noticed. They wouldn't have even known, to be honest. But on the bus, they talked to Sutton, and Erica basically says that she made a big deal about it. And Sutton was just like, no, I didn't make a big deal about it. I was fine. Other people made a big deal about it, specifically Kyle. Kyle speaks, Dorit speaks, and then it comes this moment to where it's like those three, kind of against Kyle, against Sutton. And then they was like, do you feel cornered? And I'm like, crazy you would say that, because in this moment, she kind of is, because she's talking to one person, but there's two other people coming in, Yes, but Kyle, obviously, a hit dog will holler. And when she made that comment about people making it, other folks making a bigger thing, Kyle knew it was about her, because she knows that
she did.
She did. So Garcelle speaks, and Garcelle is just like, she wishes that Dorit or someone else would have went and checked on her. And Dorit is like, yeah, because if I would have went, I would have probably been able to calm her down. And Garcelle is like, well, you don't really know what I said to her. Like, you don't know what I said. And I was the only one that went after her, and I was consoling her, and blah, blah, blah. So Dorit is just like, I don't know what Dorit is doing in this scene. She's really annoying, to be honest, kind of in this scene. Like, I ain't gonna lie, Dorit kind of tapped into, I saw Lisa Rinna come out of Dorit in this scene. That's what it was very Lisa Rinna, like someone that is like constantly trying to create mess and make more of something when the moment. So, Sutton gets emotional and she's just like, she's done with it, but Dorit is still going even after that. And Sutton is just like, listen, sometimes silence is golden. Just, other words, shut up. Like, you already said I was done talking about it. It's very awkward. It's very tension. There's a lot of tension on the bus right now. Like, just hush. But not Sutton. Dorit doesn't really get that, but she gets it after one last time of Sutton saying, I'm done.
Yep.
So any thoughts on this scene on the Sprinter van between this and then how how Erica conveniently ran into her guy friends on the elevator, like at the right time? Danny.
First off, I would have told Erica, I wasn't judging them. I was judging your old ass with them legs spread open on that stage. That's what I was judging. I would have told her.
They were great. They were lovely.
On that Sprinter, it was, Sutton was, expressing herself in her normal Sutton manner, but there really wasn't a moment. There wasn't that much arguing, that much going back and forth. And again, I'll say it before, it's almost like Dorit was disappointed that nobody was really arguing or going, you know, at her hard. So she just kept going. And I love when I said, girl, I I don't mind taking you to zip it. But yeah, Dorit, in this moment, you are 100% correct, Cortez. I thought it on watching it. I was like, the spirit of Rinna is still here. Because she definitely was trying to make it more than what it was, and nobody was taking that bait at all. Not even Eric.
Except the people that you would expect to take the bait.
Dorit.
There was a lot of frustration in this scene for me because we can all agree Sutton works herself up in situations that normal people probably wouldn't get worked up in. But as is evident by this last scene, she mainly internalizes it and keeps it to herself and then removes herself from the situation. Every time that she has exploded, it has been at somebody else prodding and pushing and gaslighting and continuing to poke at her, which we get the reaction that they get. The fact that Kyle jumped in and said, oh, no, it wasn't me. You were, I came out because you were unhinged. And it's like, she actually was having a fairly, like, she was upset. Her and Garcelle, there was nothing going on until you showed up. And she politely asked you to please go back inside and to leave her alone. And you continued to poke and prod at this woman until you got the reaction that you wanted to get. It was interesting that everybody on the way to the bus, including Dorit, told Sutton that was disgusting what Erica did. That was shocking or something like that. Everybody knew what Erica did was grimy. But then all of a sudden when they get on the bus, it's, well, you were like Erica is justified to do this. Nobody had any smoke for Erica setting Sutton up or anything. It was all these buzzwords and these, you were unhinged and you were acting crazy. I'm very proud. I wish Sutton would have cussed all of them out because it would have been justified. But I'm proud that she kept it in. But like, I think Garcelle's point, Garcelle kind of clocked what Dorit was doing. Dorit has this tendency to, whenever she's away from the girls, Erica, Kyle, Renner, she's very empathetic to your plight. Oh, absolutely. I understand why you were upset. I would be. We saw it with Garcelle's son. It was disgusting what he did. Like, I was in shock that Erica said it. But then we see a scene where she's laughing and kikiing about it. So Dorit does the same where she tries to absolve herself and make herself look like she's this great person. But when it's in the middle of mess, she starts it or enables it or gangs up on it. And that's what Garcelle was like, girl, well, if you were so concerned, you should have got up, but you didn't. So like, why are you now here on this bus holding her hand, acting like, no, it's okay. It's fine that you felt this way. Like, it was just so frustrating. These ladies, the spirit of Rinna was heavy on some of them. Does Sutton deserve a little like discipline for like, girl, just calm down? Yes, but from none of them. Garcelle was doing what a friend should have done and said like, girl, I think you're blowing this way out of proportion.
That's what I was going to say, Jamie. The only one who could really have any opinion is Garcelle, because let's be clear, Sutton didn't make a scene when she left. You know, a scene wasn't made until Kyle inserted her and kept gaslighting her. But when she just walked out, she walked out. She was going to go to the bathroom and get herself a cocktail and be fine and wait for them, you know. So the only one who could say anything is Garcelle. Other than that, everybody else, shut up. You weren't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're trying to scold, you know. I think honestly at this point they already had the conversation about it, right? They already talked about it. So yeah, it came back up when Erica pulled her little stunt with the elevator, yes. But at the same time, like yes, you can call her a prude and call her boring, party pooperish, whatever, but she didn't cause a scene. She also didn't cause the girls to leave. Kyle did. Kyle made it seem like she was like, we need to leave. That never, I don't even know why she sent that text. And I hope at the reunion they talk about this more because realistically, they probably watched it now, but even watching it, maybe they'll be like, you know what, we didn't have to leave. The person, somebody went out there with, and now I could see if Garcelle felt the way because Garcelle felt like she had to go out there and get the experience, but she's the only one that missed the experience because she, you know, was just being a friend. And I could see her frustration, but everyone else, the legs were still in the air. Kyle still went and got whipped cream licked off her. So I don't really know what is the issue. the show was about over anyway, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, and Garcelle got her lap dance. She wasn't mad. She was done. She got her lap dance.
She got what she came to do.
It's just at this point, it's overkill. But that's what Erica was trying to make it sound like on the bus was that she made a scene and ruined the night. She didn't ruin the night, honey. I mean, the night was cool. If that was the Magic Mike is cool and all, but if these men having y'all on the stage was the highlight, baby, there's more to life.
And I was confused because at the dinner, I thought we deaded this because Sutton absolutely was like, I'm sorry that I overreacted. I'm sorry if I ruined your night. I'm sorry, like I didn't mean to. I was just trying to slip away and remove myself. And everybody was like, you're fine. You didn't ruin my night. Like everybody literally sat in there. It was like, it's cool. We can move on. Even Erica was like, it's no biggie. I stayed and I had a good time. So for this now to like a full 24 hours later, have another setup, then gang up on this lady on the bus, it was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, Sutton's response when she said, "Do you feel cornered?" She was like, "Oh, wow, I can't be cornered by you." In other words, like, girl, I'm used to this.
Yeah.
I'm used to y'all coming at me.
And it's true.
And I mean, it is. Like, I'm used to you three specifically coming at me. So, whatever. She held herself. She got emotional, but she held herself. She didn't get the role of her doing whatever. She didn't lose her, like Kyle talked about later. But, yeah, I thought it was interesting. Like I said, the spirit of Renna was in Dorit. It was right there. Literally, she almost looked like her a little bit. I feel like if she had a little flip hair, or a couple of
just bump the ends a little bit,
just to bump the ends a little bit
because the hair color there,
Renna,
not Dorena.
That's her
all
name.
Right, so,
the season.
Right. So they get back home, and it's so funny seeing this rain in freaking LA because I feel like I was living there, child. It was just raining so damn much at one point. But anyway, so they're out, and we see Erica's going to lunch with somebody, and it's Garcelle. And I was like, okay, like we haven't really seen them sit down really this year. Big ones anyway. She threw her book in the trash can, and she called her son, all these things, right? So, hey, they've come a long way. So, in this scene, Sutton, they're talking about, Sutton getting on Garcelle's nerves. Apparently, Sutton is annoying as hell. They show clips and Sutton is just talking. Garcelle's like, girl, just go burn in hell. I'm trying to sleep. And I could believe that. I
believe that.
I think that Sutton is not annoying in a sense, but I think she's also a pleasure as well. I think she's still a good person.
I think she does that because her and Garcelle have a friendship. Like, when you're with your friend in a hotel, you're going to do everything that gets on their nerves.
Exactly. But they basically talking about Dorit not listening. Like, she doesn't listen. She talking about the conversation. And of course, I don't even know why Garcelle is even really talking to Erica because, Erica is not going to really say too much about Dorit other than, when she comes around, you got to talk to her and Dorit talk. I'm like, what is that? What is Dorit talk? Just listening? Because you can't talk with Dorit. So what is that? You talking another accent? What are you talking? Robbery? What are you talking? I don't know.
But I was actually pleased though that she didn't say more in defense of Dorit. I could tell she was trying to do her best to stay as neutral as possible by saying she'll come around, y'all come around, y'all will be fine. Because she knew how she taking it for Dorit like she wanted to. It would have blew up between her and Garcelle.
I wish it would have.
So Jen Mar says, seems like an edit to blow things up. Sutton could have said, I wore pants for nothing because she saw other women on stage were wearing skirts because those pants gave her a fit all day. That's true.
Yeah. We found with Sutton, those three particularly will take any little thing that she says and create these huge things and then poke at her again to get the reaction that they want to get out of her.
Well, and I think they mentioned the girls mentioned the pant things, like Kyle especially mentioned the pants situation in a whole different way.
Multiple times.
Meaning because you couldn't have your legs in the air, not over the fact that Sutton really don't like to wear pants.
Them legs is like this, baby. Ooh. That's how I'm trying to be. But anywho.
Manifesting for myself.
For myself. Yes. Okay. So in the same scene, we did find out. I don't know if I mentioned it, but Garcelle did talk about meeting up with Oliver and the whole thing with him kissing Raquel and just the update on that. Apparently he was separated from his wife, so it wasn't a big deal. But I mean, he never denied kissing her. But it's just that he wasn't cheating. But I don't remember where that happened. And so in the conversation, Garcelle is just surprised. So she says to Erica that, I was surprised when you didn't go off, but then you did. So what was that about? Like, basically, why did you try to do something like that? Why did you try to embarrass her any kind of way? And Erica just, again, feels like Sutton hijacked the moment. She feels like she hijacked the moment, and they kind of get in this whole debate on whether or not Garcelle is always having to fight Sutton battles. And so I want to ask y'all, like, how y'all feel about that? Because maybe this moment I was looking at Garcelle sideways. Like, I don't think you always have to fight her battles, but you are her only friend. So
Yeah.
I don't think she has to always help Sutton. But I mean, if you don't, then you kind of get moments like on the bus. And even on the bus, Garcelle really didn't interject. She just kind of, when they was kind of poking at her and like, still asking her questions, she was like, all right, y'all, like, y'all see she's not, So how do y'all feel about that? We've talked about on this show for the last 2 years, people have said that Garcelle has Sutton back, but Sutton doesn't have Garcelle back. And I'm not going to name them, but people in general in the comments, so that seems to be a debate. So how do y'all feel about that now?
Well, you can name me. You can name me because I feel that.
Go ahead.
I feel that. So here's my take. I feel like Garcelle was 100% correct in saying she fights Sutton's battles, because Garcelle, more than 9 times out of 10, Garcelle is taken up for Sutton in something that Sutton kind of started or stirred the pot in. Because Sutton does do that. We can't, as much as I love her, we can't say she doesn't stir the pot. It's one thing to defend your friend when someone's coming after them and they didn't start something. But a lot of the times, Sutton will start expressing herself and then gets flustered by the responses she's getting, and then Garcelle has to jump in and finish it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what Garcelle means. I think that's what's meant when it's I'm fighting, the battles are being fought for her. I think that is the real reason, because it's one thing if the girls are just coming out for no reason, then she's going to jump in, and that's what a friend does.
Yeah.
But Sutton don't do that when Garcelle stirs it or when they come after her. So Sutton don't do that for Garcelle either way.
I agree, Danny, and I think that, over the years that we've been on this panel, we've kind of clocked that, which is why, what was it, last episode of the episode before ago, I said I'm glad that Sutton said something like she's allowed to feel protective of her kids. She's allowed, because Sutton has been relatively quiet. One of the things that we had mentioned that Garcelle does is, I think she jumps in to defend Sutton when Sutton doesn't necessarily ask her. So like when the ladies bring up something negative about Sutton and Sutton's not in the room, Garcelle kind of jumps in and has gotten the reputation for fighting Sutton's battles, like you said, Danny, for stuff that Sutton has rightfully started. So I think Garcelle, I did kind of look at her sideways, but not too much, because, at some point you got to say like, okay, girl, well, this was your reaction. You annoyed me. So if they're annoyed, they have an opportunity to be annoyed. I can't go to bat for you when you're not in the room. Now, if you are in the room and they're jumping on you and they are getting you, sister, I can say something because you're my friend. But I think Garcelle is smart. She doesn't need to sit here at a dinner that Sutton's not present for and stick up for her. Because what's the point? Okay, we'll talk about it next time we see Sutton. I don't know. Because we already know that these ladies are not going to say the same thing to Garcelle as they say to Sutton. We've seen them try to manipulate Garcelle into splitting the two of them up already, and it's not going to happen. So it's like, okay, well, talk to Sutton about it. Take it up with her. Doesn't have anything to do with me. And I think that was smart.
I just hate to see Sutton cry. She came on strong for me, making Denise cry. Making Teddy cry, and then now here she is. Words make. I just hate it.
You were right, Danny, in the fact that she doesn't express herself quickly. She doesn't express herself quickly or loquaciously. And the minute that it's more than one-on-one. Yeah. So I was like, that's okay. But jump into Sutton. Come on, girl. Help her out.
I don't mind Garcelle fighting Sutton's battles because the other girls fight the other girls' battles too.
I agree.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why I don't
Absolutely.
mind it, because I mean, you're not gonna sit here and try to say, "Oh, you always in her." Like, what? I mean, what do you want? Do you want just to pound on one person and her only friend not say anything? Because I mean, that is her only friend, right? Because Crystal,
Yeah, her only real friend.
Crystal fake as hell. Crystal's gonna
Yeah.
her just as fast to be with them other girls, and you better believe you say something to Dorit, Kyle gonna speak, or you say something to Kyle, Dorit's gonna speak, or Erica. It used to be Renna, but now it's.
Yep.
We lost one. It's not 4. It's just 3. So we making progress.
Dorit trying to be 2 people though.
Dorit is acting like 2 people.
Cortez, my issue. I agree with you. I think it's perfectly fine that Garcelle does fight the battles, but I also didn't look at her sideways for saying it, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's allowed to feel that way because that is her friend.
Yeah.
Like, she should fight, but that nowhere did she say, "I'm going to stop fighting Sutton." She's like, "Maybe I should stop." That ain't gonna happen.
No, maybe
Those girls are thick.
It shouldn't even be a thought. Shouldn't be a thought. No. keep helping your friend against this group, because for whatever reason. Now, I do want to see Sutton, help out Garcelle more. I don't think she really needs.
Yeah.
Maybe she does. In just certain things, because even in the moment earlier when she was talking to Dorit, do you think Sutton? I don't think it was Sutton's place to say anything, but it would have been. We didn't see Sutton go after Garcelle. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Like, what do you mean go out? Oh,
when she left breakfast earlier in the scene, previous episode, when she stormed off, we didn't see it. Maybe she did. They just didn't film it. Crystal is going around saying that she defended Garcelle last week, but
yeah, she says they didn't show it. So that's because, girl, we don't care. We don't care.
Yeah, Crystal, if she defended her, she probably went over there and said, "Oh my God, Garcelle, Dorit said something so dark. It was so dark." And I don't want to see what. I'm sorry. I see this coming from Naya saying that Garcelle fights Sutton's battles, and I feel like she didn't have good relationships with the group because of Sutton.
Those ladies have systemically. Yeah, those ladies have each picked an issue with Garcelle completely separately. Like that Sutton, but they use Sutton as a scapegoat for why they have microaggressions and why they talk the way that they talk to her. Because Sutton's an easy scapegoat because she's the one that's loud and had the most stuff with everybody. But make no mistake, those ladies have been microaggressive and have been slick with their shit with Garcelle since she stepped on the scene.
Thank you, Mel, for the we did the last minute country theme, child. We was in our group chat like, "Hey, y'all got some hash? I got some." Right, Jamie don't want to mess up his hair, so he took.
No, it was hot. Y'all gonna see my gel run down my face. I can't do that.
Gel.
I got a little. I got a little LA looks.
Y'all governor got you on a power restriction again? Put some AC on there.
This denim is thick. I can't breathe.
It is. I'm over here sweating too. So
Alexa, what's the AC step on? Oh, turn the AC to 60, please.
Okay. So the last scene was Sutton and Kyle. And they're at Sutton's house. Kyle comes up. She shows up in the boots that she received as a gift from Sutton many seasons ago. And basically Sutton he kind of hands it to her from Kyle initially, saying that he felt like Erica embarrassed her, and she felt like she was intentionally. She literally mocked her, and just like, "Oh my God, my guy's over here." It's like, it was actually kind of funny seeing her mock Erica, not in a way it was like she was mocking it in a way that she felt like it happened. And so, she's trying to speak. Kyle wants to speak, and Sutton is like, "I'm not done. Like, don't be rude. I'm trying to talk." And I don't mind that, because when you're in my house too, let me finish what I have to say. Like, you shouldn't always be ready to speak. Just listen. That would help a lot of people on this cast, but they don't listen. Kyle is one of them. And so Sutton talks about Kyle and her having a conversation a couple of weeks ago where they said they would have each other's back. Always in his back and should be better friends to each other. And in the confessional, she reveals that she now knows that Kyle is not her friend and she does not have her back. And I'm like, girl, it took you just this incident to know that? I mean, the last 3 seasons or 4 seasons you've been on the show, Kyle has not been a good friend to you. We've been saying it. Son, just watch the lean, girl. We will tell you what you need to know.
What you need to know.
She has never been a good friend to her. I can think of one moment. And so she tells her, defend your friend, defend your friend. And so she tells Kyle that she tends to walk into situations without knowing what's going on and always having opinions, always has something to say. Kyle doesn't like it. And so Kyle says, that's not true. I don't like when you say that. But the issue from my end is that you tend to always lose your shit. And so Sutton says, name them. And she's like, as she's talking, she's like, name them. She's like, name him. She's like, well, So, and in the moment of telling her not to lose her shit, Kyle loses her shit.
I loved it.
To the point where she screams, "Is like, will you let me freaking finish?" And Sutton sits back and says, "Name him." I ain't gonna lie, I didn't expect the last name him. I was very gagged to see her say it again after being yelled at. I hollered. I was like, okay.
But Kyle would have got put out. You're not gonna tell me to be quiet in my house.
Right, absolutely not.
Kyle, first of all, you drinking my good tea. I gave you my good tea. You're gonna let me speak, and you haven't really let me speak this entire time, but now you want to say that. And I'm not gonna lie. I hate when you tell somebody about themselves and then they want to ask you to name a situation, but for the purpose of it's for TV, because that's a form of gaslighting in my eyes. But in this case, I don't really think that Kyle had a case, because even when she named the situation, she says the time she didn't bring a gift to Lisa's house. She says the ugly leather pants comment, Lake Tahoe, and even the show. Every incident that she mentioned, you don't have a moment where you defended Sutton. You were not a good friend to her in these moments. So if she did lose her shit at the same time, Sutton is still right, because you're not being a good friend to me, which is what the overarching thing is that you don't have my back. Defend me. Every moment that she mentioned, yes, she named some moments she felt like she lost her shit, but she did not defend her. And so I'm like, Kyle, you look kind of crazy right now. Kyle really has no rebuttal. She's just like, are you okay? Like, name them. So to close out this scene, Kyle at this moment, because she has nothing else to say, she's trying to put it off as if Sutton is not okay. She on some mess, or maybe she's trying to say she on pills and alcohol. I don't know. What were y'all thoughts seeing this back and forth? I thought it was hilarious. And I'm just proud of Sutton for just really sticking it to Sutton. I mean, sticking it to Kyle, standing in her ground, standing her ground and in her truth. Jamie.
First of all, Kyle is such a Karen. When Sutton said you come in and insert yourself in situations that you don't belong in, when she has 10 years worth of history of absolutely doing the exact thing, and I'll name them. But for her to automatically go into, I am actually very offended by that. Like, girl, what are you offended by? You could say, I don't agree. Offended? Shut up. Sutton knew what she was doing. Sutton knows she's annoying. Absolutely. She embraces the fact that she's annoying. She says that she's a hard pill to swallow, and I'm rough. She's annoying as shit. She knows it. So for her to sit there and do what Kyle has done to her multiple times, interrupt, overtalk, be a broken record, it was the type of poetic justice that I absolutely root for and need to see, because she sent Kyle into orbit. Kyle was losing her Ozempic out mind. It was fantastic. And even she slightly gathered when she actually named some stuff, because we all know Sutton can throw tantrums. Yeah. But what she fails to realize is the ugly leather pants was in response to Crystal yelling at her in front of everybody, "You're just jealous of me," or something like that. Yeah. So baby, Crystal lost her shit, and Sutton is not allowed to respond. Granted, she was upset about not having a gift, so she's half right on that. Tahoe, she had been trying to apologize to Crystal, and Crystal was gaslighting her and kept bullying her and telling her, "You're crazy, you're this, you're that, till she finally broke down. So it's what y'all fail to realize is y'all know this lady gives these moments. Y'all know this lady is goddamn fragile, and you keep poking at her until she gets the reaction, and now you want to use that as justification. for why you poking her. Like, I'm very confused. I'm glad Sutton kept her cool and just kept on gaslighting Kyle till Kyle lost it. I loved it.
Yeah.
Big Sut's back.
I do love how Sutton is determined to have a backbone this season. She's standing firm herself
Against all odds.
Yeah, even if she don't articulate herself properly. I will say this thing that Sutton did is probably the only one good thing that I can ever give Diana for doing, because Sutton knows how it felt when Diana kept telling her, so you say. So you say. Sutton knew how crazy that drove her, so she used it on Kyle in a different way, and it worked. And I knew Kyle was losing when she kept saying, I just don't think you're well right now. I don't think you're well. And if I was Sutton, I would have said, well, you should know what that looks like right now. So yeah, I just, stand in your stuff, Sutton. This the way you're handling her one-on-one is the way you need to handle every one of those girls when they go at it with you. Treat everybody like that. The way you handled her was A1 to me.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
It was great.
It was great. Like I said, that last name of after Kyle lost it hit me because
it was the pause. It was the 3-second pause.
It was the way she was just like, name him.
Like it was like they were done and she was gonna move on.
Right. I thought it was
if you go back and watch it, every time Kyle raised her voice, Sutton would like be shocked and then have this shit-eating grin on her face. She'd be like,
she was loving it. She was loving
the reaction.
This scene,
I loved it.
This scene lets me know that Sutton is about to have fun with Kyle's wig this season. She's about to
I loved it. She gonna turn her
really, especially when things hit the fan. I think Sutton is about to really tap into her mini villain era as it relates to Kyle.
It was like a light bulb went off.
Right.
Like a light bulb went off and says, oh, I know how to get the heat off me now. I just gotta attack her this way and she's gonna
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. I love it.
I agree.
Name them.
So I don't think we saw a trailer for next week's episode. But didn't they say that the new girl comes episode? Is it 5 or 6?
I think it says 6.
Okay.
I forgot somebody was coming.
I'm excited for her to come.
Well, I don't feel like we need her.
Well, we do need her because Crystal is boring as hell. And she seems to be the one that's going to make Crystal work. Because
Crystal's giving very friend of season. Very friend of.
Exactly. It's very friend of. And right now, she's not really showing me why she even made it to this. I ain't going to lie. I would have probably kept running over her. No, I wouldn't do that. Ill.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't name something.
Retract it. Retraction. Issue a retraction.
All
I'm sorry for my choice of words.
I'm so sorry. We got a few callers in the queue. So this is the time where we have our callers. We thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, and name them. Okay? Because that's what we do over here. Make sure y'all check out Miami tomorrow. I know Miami's on right now, but we host our show for that on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. It's hosted by Jamie, full of panelists, myself, Love, Shantae, and Danny. So you can check it out tomorrow too. All right, our first caller for today is going to be Demisio. What's going on, Demisio?
Hey guys.
Hey Demisio.
Don't start.
Kyle's #1 fan.
Oh,
please don't start that bullshit because I came on here just to drag her.
I watch that language now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not now.
I know I have been enjoying the more personal side of things. I think we've had so much drama the past 3 seasons that we have missed this side of the Beverly Hills franchise. So I am enjoying that. I want Garcelle to just stop giving Dorit airtime because Dorit doesn't understand. She's not going to understand. She's never going to understand. And at this point, if she don't just flat out just call her a racist, I can't take any more of the microaggressions. It's like, girl, to tell her that it's been a year, like Garcelle is so much better than me because the way I would have drugged Dorit up and down and all around for making that statement. Like, it doesn't matter if 3 years had went by. Like, if I don't want y'all around my kids, I don't want y'all around my kids because they don't feel safe. Same thing back when the whole stuff was going on with Denise, and she said the same comment to them.
Oh, I forgot that.
Girl, if I don't want you around my kids, that's just that. Erica for sure set Sutton up. Absolutely 100%. Like, you mean to tell me everybody got a lap dance, got to go on stage, got some attention from those guys except one person? Like, let's be for real. So Erica did that on purpose to get some get back. She all but confirmed it in that confessional. Like, she was waiting for her little moment and she got it. And yes, Sutton did throw a little temper tantrum, but let's not forget that Kyle does what she always does: make situations 10 times worse than what they were. No one asked you to come follow us outside. No one asked for your opinion. No one ever asks you for anything. And for her to make it seem like Sutton is having all of these moments, Kyle, you've had moments since season 1. So if we want to recall moments, let's go down the line, honey, because we can do it. I'm so glad that Sutton is clocking her and standing her ground against Kyle and finally seeing her for the backstabbing little twat, since we can't cuss, that she is.
I feel like that's a cut word.
I don't know. They may have been understanding. I felt that.
Like, I'm glad it's so about time somebody gave it to Kyle, because I am so sick of her cherry picking everybody else's misery. It's about goddamn time. Lord have mercy.
Ooh.
So kudos to Sutton. High five on her coming to realization that she ain't your friend. She ain't your friend. And the only time that she ever had your back was when you was going against somebody that she hated even more, and it was Crystal. So
that was true. That is the only time, and
the only time.
That was the only time.
So yeah, that's all though.
Okay. Well, thank you, Demisio. Thank you for calling in. Okay.
Alrighty. Have
Bye,
a good
darling.
night.
Bye.
All right. Thank you, Demisio. And our last caller for today is going to be Kyra. Hey, Kyra, how are you?
Oh, hi everyone. Y'all look very handsome in your light western wear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Kyle is letting us know, which we all know this, and I also don't, because it's not healthy for someone to share every aspect of their life, but for her to have like this giant nosedive on how she feels about her relationship with Mauricio, I'm like, ma'am, where has this been all the years you've been on the show? Because now you're not a partier, you don't want to go out, you don't want to do this. But man, everybody's wondering who's watching Portia because you've been traveling around with your little friend, going to every country music festival you can find. So where's this mountain lady? Because you've been partying with a girl who's younger than your oldest child. So now, this is a lie. I did not hear about this conspiracy with Erica and the whole setting up. I can get on the train though. I can get on the train, especially for the fact that I feel like I would prefer her having a visceral reaction when Sutton like did the thing versus you waiting, plotting, and scheming and pretending like you don't care. Because that makes me that means that you are usually like waiting for you're just I know she's a showgirl, but sometimes I just feel like it's because she doesn't really have a personality. Even if people will say like they go up for her, I feel like Erica doesn't have a personality. Like her whole like gay pop star persona was something that was formulated because someone told her that was the best way to sell herself as an aging person who wanted to be a pop star. So this idea that you're gonna like set up your friends and say all this extra stuff makes me feel like you're waiting for a moment, as I think Cortez says, of like the Rena spirit is catching some of the girls, and just like let it happen naturally. If you were mad at them, I'd rather you go ahead and do the thing than do this whole situation. And Kyle was no good because, ma'am, last year you set up Sutton at the homosexual party. Remember, she wasn't there at Rena's wine event, and then started all that mess and had Rena screaming across the table at Sutton. Then was snatching up on Sutton with Diana. And then even the season where Erica's situation first started happening, she was having all these conversations with Sutton, pretending like, yeah, I don't understand either, but then throwing her under the bus to Erica. So this idea that Sutton is just having all these outbursts when she's only been on the show for 4 years. And man, you had like 3 or 4 last year. Remember she was like having that guttural scream to Dorit over the hat place last year? Over the hat place. She was crying and crying and screaming and stumping around in her UB diaper. No, ma'am. So you come to my house and tell me to be quiet? Are you shaking your head in your little blonde stripes? Absolutely not. Right? I'm like, oh, they're rude. No, ma'am. You don't know how to be friends, and you've been on the show, and you've been able to throw everything in. I think it's because I thought this morning took in his face. I thought it was a plot. I thought it was a storyline. Obviously, it seems like something real. I don't know. I don't know what tipped it off. I know people are saying the friend. No, the friend who unfortunately took her life. But I'm just like, this man has been like ripping and running since we've been on the show, and you let him, screw up your family. So I don't really know how is that different now, especially when you don't have children to raise. But you all get to live your own life, and he's still trying to make time for family time. Because we saw him in the last episode saying we want to take a family trip to Portugal. So this idea that he also doesn't want to have family time doesn't sit right when we see him trying to do that. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Y'all so quiet today.
You know, we've been talking for a long time. It's your time to
Yeah,
talk.
this y'all time.
We wait to see if you're done before we jump in.
This your square.
Well, I ramble, so I want to try to give people time to.
Well, do you have
It's your time.
any questions for us specifically?
I feel like the two things I always think I bring it up that I'm hoping that we find closer answers of why does Kyle treat Sutton like him, and also when is the Reed slip just gonna finally just like full on show with Garcelle?
Wait, I didn't hear that. Repeat that.
Like when is the Reed slip gonna full on show with Garcelle?
Oh.
Well, it's barely on. I mean, it's
Okay. It's a high slit. It's a high slit slip.
I feel like in this season, Garcelle is like has caught it all, and now I'm not gonna say she got a hard on for Dorit, but I can acknowledge that she is, kind of boiling something with Dorit this season too, because she, and I think Dorit gave her the ammo by having that whole moment when she did express about the whole not wanting to be around the family. And Dorit took the bait. I think that was I think she took the bait, and now it's gonna be a full-on issue. Not just that, but it seems like even on the Sprinter van, like when she was like, I wish you would have said something. I mean, I know she was talking about everybody else, but she said you. So I think, and even the conversation with her and Erica, she mentioned Dorit. So I think that now Garcelle is kind of like ready to play with Dorit. I just hope that Dorit can play back and not be a damn racist or giving the more she's already given.
Because I'm sorry, the neck be slipping, and as Benicio said, I would have grabbed and slashed and twirled the Dorit every way, which leads verbally by them outgrown roots. The way when she got us there, and it ain't here. Go take a shower, Garcelle. I'm like, Peppa.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Yeah, but Dorit has never, like Mel just says here, has never shown Garcelle any empathy ever. Dorit has never really liked Garcelle. I mean, going back,
it was jealousy because Garcelle came in being a star.
Yeah, when she came in, Dorit I don't think she's ever really gave her any true grace, any true like. Have they even had like any true one-on-one scenes? Like they don't.
I don't think so.
Really
No, Dorit, remember that season, the opening, Dorit came into her house, and that's when Garcelle said, oh, this fish is Dorit, and this one's Kyle because it's ordinary.
Yeah, I do remember that scene, something like that.
Yeah. But I think it was like Garcelle's second season, so that's been a minute, obviously. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I am looking forward to seeing what this Garcelle and Erica situation will be. I don't like that people are like, oh, well, she's not friends with everyone else because of Sutton, when the reality is Sutton's the only space for her to be friends. I will give leeway with the situation with Kyle because Garcelle was being slick shady with Kyle in the beginning. I will give that. But everyone else, I don't really see anyone else like making the connections. I mean, Lena was someone who was so friends. It wasn't really see them also like flourish. So this idea that because she stands up and Sutton that she can't be friends with anyone else is a pop out, especially when you haven't really seen anyone try to make a connection with her.
Yeah.
I mean, Sutton's the only one hanging out with her kids when they're not filming all that kind of stuff. So that part to me is kind of neat when it comes to that.
Okay, so they have had one-on-one scenes. Okay, so
it's been a couple of years.
Yeah, it's been a while, but ever since that one little scene when she was just like, fuck you with this.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Kyra, we gotta get ready to get out of here, but thank you for calling in, okay?
Good night, Kyra.
We appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, we come to the end of our show. We thank you guys for watching. As I always say, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends, to tell their friends, to tell their parents and their grandmamas, and to name them. Just name them. Name all the shows that we do a week because we got a lot. Make sure y'all check out Miami tomorrow. Make sure y'all check out Potomac on Mondays, Married to Madison, Salt Lake City on Tuesdays, and Bell Collective on Mondays as well. And obviously, we'll be here every Wednesday, same time right after the show. Jamie is tired, so we got to go. Thank y'all
on
for
now.
watching. Okay, like, and we will see you guys next time. Okay, you have a good night.
Bye.